Oh gosh, you'll just never know. You'll never guess what it is. I mean, even when I read the scripts, I was completely shocked at the end, and I kind of felt like I had a hunch, but he just proves you wrong once again. So, oh my gosh. Well, I was so excited. I was very fortunate. I got all 8 episodes in one go, so I got to binge read it. And I thought, oh wow, she's a loose cannon, this one. And just so vibrant. And so I was really excited to kind of get to tackle and tap into those kinds of personalities and those kinds of qualities that I don't think I've really had the opportunity to do previously. And but I will say, I was like, gosh, she's an actress. That hits a little close to home. Like, how does one play an actress? I am an actress, so how do I figure that out? And then, of course, as you sort of discover a lot of the behavior and things within the character, you go, oh wow, she's a fully fleshed out character. And then getting to work out with Mike, kind of all the little neuroses and all the kind of characteristics that we want to kind of lean into and kind of push and make a little, cringe or awkward or uncomfortable. All of those things were really, really fun to get to do with him. Oh my gosh. Well, of course, the ladies, we were such a tight-knit group. Our storyline is very, it's kind of outside the storyline of the others. So we spent a lot of time together, obviously on set, but even off set, we were hanging out, eating. We did a lot of water aerobics. I just got to say that's like a lot of fun. So we did that. And then I really befriended Parker Posey. She was my roommate for probably about a month or 6 weeks, and we had such a ball together. I've loved her for such a long time, and she is an absolute riot. And then probably Walton and Natasha. I spent a lot of time with both of them as well. We all kind of showed up at the same time, like the ladies, and then Parker came shortly thereafter, and Carrie and Leslie ended up taking a villa, and then I had a villa, and then I knew like Parker was coming in 2 days, so she just took the other room of that villa, and I felt like I scored because I was gonna get the opportunity to meet like my 90s indie queen, and she doesn't disappoint. I mean, she's an amazing woman. I've never met anyone like her. She's she's like very grounded, but ethereal and wise, and she's just someone I could sit and talk with for hours. She also like travels like with an apothecary of things. Like she's very kind of witchy, and she's the type of gal who's like, you're shooting all night. Oh, you're gonna be so tired. You need some ashwagandha. And I'm like, some what? And she's like, don't worry, I'll put it by your bed. And sure enough, I'd come in at like 6 a.m. after having shot it all night, and there would be that ashwagandha and a couple of other little supplements and like lotions and potions and all of the things. She was like the mother hen looking after us all. One of my pastimes that I took up in Thailand was I got my diving certificate. And so that was really exciting. My children and my husband came over, and that just became a pastime that we really took advantage of. And now it's something that I'll carry with me, and hopefully I'll do in other places. And I got to dive with Walton. Walton's a big diver, and we had a great day out on a boat. And, any time spent out on the water, I think, whether it was like with family or friends, because that was something, if you had the day off, people would go like, who wants to chip in and get a boat? And you'd go and sort of swim and, boat around the islands. And it's like, when else are we going to have this extraordinary opportunity to enjoy this part of the world like this? And so those are special memories. Those are beautiful days. I had this big fear that I was going to have to miss them for 6 months, and it was going to be few and far between that I'd be able to get back home. But in reality, I was actually able to travel back about once a month for like a week. And they came over for about 3.5 months actually total. And so for them, it was a really big adventure, and they have a big like adventurous spirit, and they love to travel and do new things. And so that was a real special, it was a very special time for us. I think, you know, the way I never judge my character, so let's just definitely, I just don't do that. An actor never judges their characters. Um, but I think that she was really authentic in the sense that she really wanted a Lori to hook up with this guy. It was a perfect weekend for a fling, and I think that, you know, there's you know, one of the challenges of Jacqueline and the qualities that she needs to work on is maybe the idea that she needs a lot of external validation. And I think that I think she was a little bored. She wasn't really necessarily getting stimulated in the way that she needed to be at this detox White Lotus. And she was being a little ignored at home. And I think that she made a very impulsive decision, for better or for worse. And I think she just kind of decided to have some fun at the end of the night. And I think the next day, I think she's probably going to tell them what she did, and I don't think she's going to think like it's going to be a big deal. So, you know, we'll see how the ladies take it. Well, I think it's exactly what Mike White does brilliantly. I think that's why people feel so connected to these characters. Obviously, a lot of their actions and within the story are quite heightened, right? These are people coming from a place of sort of privilege, but they bring their baggage to the White Lotus. And I think that, you know, these are all characters at some point where you're really enjoying and it's like titillating, and then you're rooting for, and then the next week you're not necessarily rooting for because you're like, oh wait, I see a mirror here and that's triggering for me, or, you know, listen, I would never make that decision, or you're like, oh wow, like, yes, they're really, you know, they really want to find their spirituality, and so I find that, you know, that's just like they're very universal themes, and I think Mike has such a knack for just tapping into tone that people can really, really appreciate, you know, in terms of the characters being kind of gray and they walk that fine line. And I think, you know, a lot of people walk that fine line in real life. Well, I am so excited to be partnering with You Beauty. This is a big deal for me. You know, something in the beauty industry has been on my radar for a long time. I love beauty. But specifically partnering with You Beauty means a lot because they represent a lot of qualities that I hold very dear in my skincare routine, and as far as like my health goes. For me, skin health is really important, and You Beauty inhabits all of those great things. You know, it's a science-backed beauty brand. They take great care in their ingredient safety, and that's something that's really evolved for me personally over the course of my time. You know, as someone that's been in the industry and someone who's actually been diagnosed with melanoma, that was a really big turning point in my life in terms of taking my skincare and my health very seriously. I definitely really want high quality, high performance formulas. I want maximum results, but with like with minimal routine. You know, I really like to have, my time is precious, as it is for everyone, and so I want products that are multifunctional, and you know, that's really one of the tenets of You Beauty. So many of their products have a multifunctional component, and so that works wonders for my routine.